Yeah, good afternoon and welcome to Maegun's Diary this afternoon. So I'm going to have with me the presidential hopeful Omoyele Sowore with us this afternoon. So as promised, he is going to join us in about a minute or two. Then you can drop your questions in the comment section. We'll pick questions randomly about his ambition and every other thing you may want to ask, ask the guest. So then I've got my own questions here that I'm going to also throw at at our guest today. So we are also going to open the line for those who are interested, who might want to call from any part of the world to also make contribution or ask question from Omoyele Sowore this afternoon. So let me make efforts and bringing him on now. So one sec. Then share this broadcast as well. Invite your friends. This is an opportunity that we can call our own Maegun's Diary town hall meeting, online town hall meeting. In this case, it is actually global. Global town hall meeting now. The opportunity is here. You can phone in. You can send your question down the, through the comment section. And then Omoyele Sowore will be with us in a matter of minutes. So I'm going to share the broadcast. You should share the broadcast as well. Invite your friends. Invite everyone, Nigerians, non-Nigerians, educated, not so educated. I mean young and the old. Let everybody come here now. Those who have access to this app, Facebook app, this afternoon. So I'm going to invite him to join us. One sec. Anyway, just give me one sec. Share the broadcast. And then let's welcome Omoyele Sowore into our midst this afternoon for the second time in about 1 month. So we'll have our own town hall meeting. We'll have the update on his campaign so far. So we'll get to hear from him if the network allows us. And I've just sent an invite to him now. And I hope he joins us in just a few minutes. So it's going to be wonderful this afternoon. And I just wish many Nigerians will have access to see this video. If not now, possibly those who are going to download the video, put it on their own different blogs or, online to reach more audience. So we'll do as much as possible to make this an interesting afternoon for those who are already in the afternoon. So thank God our presidential candidate, aspirant, Omoyele Sowore is now with us. Then I'm going to bring him on so that we can get this started.
Hey, my good general, how are you?
Mr. President.
How are you, man?
I am here, surviving. That's the word, surviving.
I know, like I've always said, there's nothing worse than the disease of survivor, because you're either surviving to die or dying to survive. Yeah, that shouldn't be the case.
So it's a pleasure having you back this afternoon. The last time I had you here, we've been truncated most of the time, being tampered with, just because of hopefully
Hopefully they are used to the idea that whose time has come, and
exactly.
They won't be reporting it.
They can't.
They can't.
And they don't even know how many of us. They don't even know how many of us with that spirit. And that's what the problem is. They don't know how many of us with this spirit. So they can see Omoyele Sowore, they can see others, and they can target Omoyele Sowore, they can target others.
But
they don't know the army of those who are interested in this. And that is where the problem is. So it's a pleasure having you again with us this afternoon. And
thank you so much.
yeah,
We just came back from Port Harcourt, Warri. So if I sound a little bit languid and tired, it's because we've been inhaling what they call soot. And while I was in Port Harcourt, we got sick because they have this thing in the air. They call soot. It's something that comes from the refinery in Port Harcourt. It's dangerous. It's cancerous, but nobody cares about it. So, but I caught a flu from there. So, but we went to Warri yesterday and disrupted Warri, and we're now in Lagos, preparing for Igbora tomorrow and Abeokuta. It's amazing. It's just amazing to see that we can actually live through a Nigeria where people have become receptive to ideas as opposed to being receptive to just money and money bags.
Thank you very much. So we are taking it back everywhere at the end of the day, but we are disrupting first. And the disruption is really happening. And day by day, the rank is swelling. And I'm personally impressed. So many people, the position of the camera, God bless you.
Yes, I just changed the camera.
So many people have been following. When you started, it all looks like a joke. You know, one of those, bad jokes.
That was a joke.
But people are beginning to see through it now, the seriousness.
That's right.
So what we want to achieve with this broadcast this afternoon are going to be like in two places, in two phases. Number one, to let people know that it is possible to change what is bad if we are determined to do it. Then the second one is that this is not about those who are currently coming out. It is about those who are keeping quiet, not sure whether to come out or not.
That's very true.
So that's what I want us to achieve with this program this afternoon. You have led the chat. Well, you've started. The disruption is going everywhere. And the only thing that could make someone like you genuinely valuable to this cause in this generation, to me, is to give you this support, awesomely. So I have got these few questions I've prepared here in order to get started immediately. You see, I picked some interesting areas. Some of them you have mentioned, but I just want us to be specific this afternoon as well. So I'm going to want us to talk about the pensioners. I want to talk about the women and children. I want to talk about our justice system, the security system, the food security in Nigeria, industrialization through agriculture. So I'm going to want us to talk about that. Then unemployment in Nigeria. You see, Nigerians are beginning to get tired, if they are not already tired, of all these promises. People know what we want, but we just get all these promises, but nobody really tells us how they are going to get things done. And in this regard, I'm going to want us to use this opportunity to get, a sort of a hindsight of what you really have in mind for Nigerians. Maybe they should start to understand the concept of take it back genuinely this time around, and they can start buying into it. So we'll start with the justice system. You have been through it. You have been maltreated. You have been arrested, on different charges. You have been detained.
And I had
many horrible underground cells.
My assets confiscated. Yes.
You've had your asset. They've used the instrument of the state to fight you. No matter how tiny they always say we are, they say we are inconsequential. So justice system in Nigeria, we have prisoners without trial. We have politicians. When ordinary Nigerians are in prison for flimsy or little charges, right? Politicians get away with crime that you can just mention of. So you I won't say you are agreeing on now. So you as a new entrant into the real battle for the heart of Nigeria, right? What do you have for the justice system in Nigeria? I want to say maybe justice reform, judiciary reform or something.
I will start by saying that there's no justice system in Nigeria. What we have found and seen in Nigeria is a just us system. It's a system that is just for the people in power. And the judges, particularly at the lower court system, meaning magistrates and high court system, They are just at the service of the highest bidders, and that is why you find, innocent individuals who are raided for what they call wandering, even offenses that are no longer within our own law framework. People get arrested for it. Since I came here, I had to show up at 3 a.m. at the police station, Area F, because a guy that I sent to buy me food in GR area of Ikeja was arrested and swept into what they call the Yahoo boys sweeps that they do. They just look at people and they look at your profile based on what you wear, how you look, and they arrest you. So by 3 a.m., I had to go to the station to bail out one of the guys. And when I got there, I was shocked. They said, well, we arrested him so that we can find out whether he's Yahoo boy or not. And I said, what is the basis for arresting somebody in Nigeria? Well, they say, he was wearing a hooded shirt. Can you believe that? So I said, so if somebody is wearing a hooded shirt, does it automatically translate to being a criminal? They had no response. The DPO later came. His grasp was that we have no respect for the police, and I had to explain to him, say, if you want respect as Nigerian police, you got to stop doing the bidding of criminals. I said, during the military era, you were beating students up who were fighting for democracy. After that, you have placed yourself at the disposal of even girlfriends of politicians that are carrying their back. How do you want people to respect you? And at that point, I introduced myself to him. I said, I'm going to be the president of Nigeria next year. You better get used to the idea that there has to be police reforms. We were also coming from Warri, and I'm telling the story that when you talk about the justice system, you talk about how people get arrested, how they get trapped within the system, and how they don't get justice. We're getting from Port Harcourt to Warri on the what they call the East, I think it's the East-West Highway, yes.
Yeah.
And everywhere there's a police checkpoint, you find a big crater, hole on the wall, crater on the highway.
Road block.
It's as if the police intentionally dig crater so that they can set up a
roadblock.
A roadblock there,
Sorry, comrade, can you help us balance that your camera properly? We keep missing every time you move. Okay. Yeah, I think it's perfect now.
All right. So what has happened is that when the police and the judges are all working in tandem, but they don't go after rich people. You heard that the former governor was sentenced to 14 years in prison for corruption. He has not been arrested. He has not been put in jail. He's not going anywhere near the prison anytime soon. I can tell you that, right? Because he's above the law. But there are people who have been in jail for months simply because they were caught within the police sweep.
We have some of them. We even have some of them who couldn't just fulfill the bail condition given to them by the court. 10,000, 20,000, and they are there languishing.
Last year, I had to pay a few people. I had to pay for a few people to get out of Kirikiri prison. And when I met them, these are like amazing young people. They said, we're looking for a job. We're looking for something to eat. We get caught up, we get arrested. The police ask our family members to go and bring 10,000. You don't get it, they just shove you through the mobile court system in Lagos, which is an unjust legal system, to Kirikiri prison. And they are stationed with hardened criminals. And they have no chance of getting justice because the lawyers don't. A lot of lawyers are working to help them, but a lot of lawyers are also interested in big clients.
But people, see, Mr. President, people always say that even if you have this beautiful vision to reform, that are you going to import some people from somewhere else?
No.
Because you still have to pick. You still have to pick from the rotten system.
You don't have to.
How do you think? How easy do you think that will trickle down? Like, policy-wise and effective.
Maigun, you are a Nigerian. I am a Nigerian, right? I want to believe that if you have a chance to save this country, you will come down from wherever you are to help. There are very beautiful judges around the country. I mean, when I say beautiful, I'm just, beautifying the language. That's not the right language to describe judges.
But these average judges
that will be, and they're like solid judges. There are Nigerians in this country who are judges who want to do the right thing, but the environment is not allowing them to do the right thing because the guy at the top is not supportive of a just, fair, and equitable system. And they are waiting for someone to come and unleash them on the society. They are there. You'll be surprised. Some of them have joined us already. We have police officers who said, this thing you are doing is what we want to do. We saw some police officers who were with us in Ilorin. After they escorted us from Ilorin to Eyekori, which is almost 35 minutes away from Ilorin. And when we stopped and they wanted to go back, they said, look, sir, if it is true that you pay us minimum wage of 100,000 naira, we will not be collecting bribe anymore. The reason that's
another area. That's another area, right?
Yeah.
Greed.
They said,
greed is one of the problem of the establishment. I made a broadcast earlier today on that. Yeah. Even with so much money they acquire,
you can't satisfy the greed of. You can't satisfy
they are not taking care of those who are guiding them. They are not.
It's what I said. Nigeria has to abandon the greedy and start going after and supporting the needy. Majority of our people will get by just with a little, but as long as we are financing the greedy people in our system who are only interested in taking the most out of the little we have and leaving nothing for the majority, there's no way we can get anything done in Nigeria. And we have to.
So are you proposing a total overhaul of the judicial system where you will start, you go hunting? That means you have to go hunting.
People always tell me, Sowore, don't say what you will do until you get there. But my conscience will not let me tell you.
Yes, because you have to tell us how you're going to do it.
Yes,
this time
my
around.
conscience will not let me sit down here.
Yeah, not when you get there.
Will not let me sit down here, Mayegun, and not tell you what I will do for Nigeria, so that I get there. Because if I don't tell you what I will do, a lot of people will not believe me and they will not step out and vote for me.
Yes.
When we went to a lorry and we said we would jail some person, because some people say, "Oh, no, don't jail him," and I said, "What do they do to people who rob banks? They go to jail. What do you do to a person who robbed the state and starts sending his children to school in London, whereas the children of Kwara people cannot find a school to go to? What do? You send them to jail." I'm not saying I'm going to grab him and send him to jail, but we have enough evidence to say this man should face the law. That is, every country that has developed in the world has had to deal with the people who put them in a state of misery and penury.
Now, let me put it this way. Let me put it this way, yes. Comrade. Is that, you see, one of the things that we always sometimes miss in our attempt to mend this wrecked system, is that we forget the impact of what policy formulation and implementation plays in this regard. Yes. When you want to reform judiciary, there are some laws that these guys, they are not even laws. They are just like bylaws they inserted in our constitution that protected them. And we put your own arm. Have you started studying some of these laws to see where we need to use executive order?
To you know, we've checked out the entire Nigerian legal system. There's no one that allows a judge to twist the cost of justice to suit the rich against the poor. In fact, there's nothing more dangerous than a corrupt judge, because a judge is entrusted with granting the freedom of the innocent, right, and the guilt of a criminal. But when the judge turns it around, you find the innocent caught up within the system, punished, and you find the criminals controlling the system. If our judges were doing what was right before now, so many of the criminals you have now in the Senate as governors will not be governors. Because interestingly, a lot of them have been caught within the legal system before now. But they have been able to bribe their ways because they're able to manipulate and game the legal system. And that's how they became who they are today. Right?
So we should expect a judiciary reform proposal from the executive if you eventually be the president.
The executive, look, I'll give you an example. One journalist in Ghana took down about 20 judges, just a journalist.
That's right.
He set them up and they were collecting bribe as he was doing it. When the thing came out, it became a movie. Everybody went to theater to watch it. The judges, some of them had to resign, but the ones that refused to resign, the system had to purge them. It's very easy to get rid of corrupt judges because it's a matter of the policemen, the EFCC.
So that we can at least have a system right?
And this is why
Like
capacity is important. This
the
is why
injustice in
intellect is
Nigeria
important.
is
This is why a leader that knows what he's doing is important. But you know me, I don't even need to work on judges. I already have their dossier. I cover the judiciary like nobody else.
That's true. That's true.
So somewhere in the recesses of my laptop or in the cloud, all the judges, I know what they do. The best way to catch Nigerian judges, to know the most corrupt Nigerian judges, is to look at tribunal judges, the judges who have been involved in election petition tribunals. That is where you catch them. I have all of them. You know, those are the worst judges. The judges who are involved in election petition tribunals are the ones who have been engaged in a worst form of corruption. Some of them are not like that, but there are only very, very few. It's just a infinitesimal number of judges. The rest, they built mansions, bought huge cars, they've made a lot of money. And the truth is that the evidence is open, it's in the open. You don't need to even look too far. You will find it. You will find the kind of cars they're driving there, the huge watches they have in their accounts.
That doesn't qualify with what
exactly. So if you're a judge that's receiving certain amount of money, and suddenly you find one
on a lighter mood, comrade, right? Okorocha told us that there is no man on earth that can survive on his monthly salary alone. So, and the 740,000 naira, he made us realize that each governor of a state in Nigeria earns 750,000 naira. So we now know now. So which means every governor amassing all this, so we can able to trace the source of all this.
Exactly.
You know,
so
because we go back to the book.
If you are earning $1 million per month, and suddenly we found that you just built a 100 million naira house, then
it's easier for us.
The job is made easy for the officer that's investigating. He just pull you in and say, we have removed your salary from the house you built. So tell us where you got the balance. Case closed. The same thing with the lawmaker who bought a 100 million naira car for his wife for her birthday. It's easy, you know. And so,
then he gave
some
rights to some youth as well to also earn something from the street.
Yeah,
but that's just by the way anyway. So let's go to the next one.
So
people are eager to ask you a lot.
It's judge.
Yeah.
It's justice made easy. Yeah.
Yeah, so people are eager to ask you a lot, so I'm not going to block them. I'm not going to make this just about me. Well, I told you I've got arranged questions here, but I'm just going to ask one more. Then I'm going to start picking from them or start receiving phone calls to save our time. Yeah. So there's something about food security. The last time you were here, we discussed about the Buhari's trip to Washington and what transpired and the eventual consequence of that in the next few months in Nigeria. So now, as a candidate, as an aspirant, aspiring to lead Nigeria, because we are currently at a crossroad now, or the quagmire or something. So anyway, food security is very important. We used to be able to feed ourselves and feed Africa, but until when these marauders invaded our land and destroyed our land, destroyed our farmers, discouraged our youth from seeing prosperity in agriculture. So you as a young person, we know the enormity, we know the capacity of what an agro economy can be for a country like Nigeria. North, west, south, east, everywhere. Middle belt that used to be our food basket of the country. Benue State is currently, God help them. So we have a security risk in our food production everywhere. So now, I want to make it, clear that, can we begin industrialization? When we say we want to bring in an agricultural revolution in a government. So I want to, in my own view, I want to have a clearer picture of what type of revolution are we going to see in our agriculture, because I've got this idea. And the idea is this: through agricultural revolution, we can actually industrialize Nigeria. I've got this beautiful plan about cottage industries being powered on each farm, in every settlement in Nigeria, and villages surrounding these farms can get access to easy power supplies 24/7, increase production, cut down cost of living, and eventually bring more money to government. So you, as a young aspirant, aspiring to lead the country, what type of agricultural revolution should we look forward to in piece by piece, bit by bit? Break it down for us in a nutshell, sir.
So it's very straightforward. We need to grow our own crops. We need to grow our own food. We have to just go plant trees. We need to plant crops because the arable land is there. What is sad is that Nigeria is only growing 70% of its arable land space, right? Because we have been spoiled by this lazy oil economy where it's rent seekers just share money. And agriculture is not just planting cashew and cocoa alone. It involves fishery, ranching, right? And so many things that comes with agriculture these days, some of them you don't even know. Agriculture is also not about what you consume. Agriculture has also become a source of energy. Right? Ranching, for example, if we do it right, can help us generate 1,000 megawatts of electricity. That is from cow dungs alone. And beside when the cow dungs are done with generating electricity, the waste from there becomes fertilizers. But what is lacking are three basic things. One of them is integration. Now, how does a farmer get to his farm without roads, rural roads? And how does a farmer take out his products to the next market where he can sell it and use the process of the money to take care of him or herself and send the children to school? We don't have that. How does how does a farmer get the loans they need? Not loans that are tailored or channeled towards party members, but loans that are available for everybody that is eligible for it at low interest rates. Another thing is processing. It is not everything we grow these days that needs to go to the market. Some you can process right there. So we can have like mobile agricultural processors moving around to help you grind your pepper, dry it right there, put it, and before you know it, it's in Malaysia, it's in America, it's in Ireland, it's in Scotland. Do you know also that it's a matter of policy, and some of it is also diplomatic, international. Nigerian farmers to send yams all over the world now have to go through Ghana because Ghana is the only country accepted by the US and some European countries to have a decent transportation and export system because our export system is messed up over here. If you take a yam to be exported out of the port in Apapa for 3 months, they will not get to the place where it will be exported because we are congested in Lagos. There are trailers that are waiting from Oshodi, lined up all the way to the port. They can't get there. There's from Aujuelegba to the port. They can't get there. Why? Because our leaders don't know what they are doing. There are opportunities to set up ports in Calabar, in Warri, in Koko, in Olokola, in Ondo State, in somewhere in the southeast, but they won't do it because it's not profitable. And anything that doesn't bring suffering for the Nigerian people, leaders are not interested in it. They like to show you that if you suffer, you will appreciate them, right? So we don't have opportunities to import and export. We only have a few ports that are functioning. A country of 190 million people, or 198 million people has just a Lagos port that is capable of functioning. The other reason why they keep the port like that is because the articles of this world, the owners of Intel, that is their port of soup.
And the waivers for the likes of
and the waivers
as well. I wanted to get to that
importation. Article will not be able to control everything, And this is the same article that is talking about restructuring. If we restructure Nigeria, he will lose control over our ports. So they know what they are doing. But the moment you have the right kind of leadership with mission, with vision, with clarity of mind and intellect, with exposure, you know that you don't have to practice agriculture in the way they do it in the olden days. The subsistence agricultural system we have is actually part of the reason why herdsmen are so effective, because the people that are affected by herdsmen are people who are growing 1,000 sticks of cassava every year, and then it's just for subsistence. But if you are doing commercial agriculture, the herdsmen and even the farmers can have a, a point of agreement where you graze on my land, you pay me some. Okay, so if I'm incentivized, for example, and I know this is the grazing route, I can go and plant, grasses there for you. If you go use my grazing route, you pay me right there,
That's
right?
right.
If you don't pay me, I don't
But
open the
you
gate
see,
for you.
to also
So,
break
so
down.
that even the grazing route can be a commercial route for farmers. So I can have a farm that you want to graze on. I will open my gate for you if you pay me. You
The
pay, it's
rent,
pay as you
or
go.
if I want
And I open the
to
thing,
sell
you eat, you drink your water, you go to the
within.
next one. It becomes business. But the thing is that we don't have leaders who think progressively about these things. We have leaders who are backward. They are using the 1980 something or even 1965 method to govern in Nigeria of 2018, and we are going to go into 2019, and we're already halfway into the year. So agriculture. So because people think about agriculture and they think mechanized agriculture, yes, we can have we can have trucks, we can have tractors, we can have all of that. But there are other ways also that technology has helped us to make agriculture sexier. And one of it is that a lot of plants out there, a lot of seeds out there have been so improved that corn don't have to spend 6 months again before you harvest, and there are 2 months corn. There are corns that can grow and be harvested in 2 months. But the thing is, who is introducing us to them? Are we doing research? Are we introducing it to our farmers? Nobody.
But
Everybody
there's another
is looking
thing.
to import.
There's another thing I'm going to. We have a caller now, but I'm going to ask you quickly because no matter how lofty the idea is, there is this always. Sorry, one sec. Good afternoon, my caller.
Good afternoon. My name is Ola.
Ola.
Yeah.
Ola from London, or where?
Yeah, from UK.
Okay, sure, UK. But just give me 1 minute, please. Let me quickly ask this. There's this barrier in the settings, is in how Nigeria is set up. The barrier of the Association of Share the Money, the governors. You may have all these beautiful ideas, and you can't achieve them as a federal government.
Don't say that. Don't say that. You can achieve beautiful ideas, but you cannot achieve any ideas if you surround yourself with people who are against progressive ideas. That is what is killing the current regime. The chief of staff is maybe about 75 years old. All the members of Cabal are old people. They are the people who used to do business the old way. And most of them are actually people who started businesses and their businesses failed. I know one of them used to be a construction mogul, Bullet Construction. It's a member of the Cabal. His construction company failed. Then you go and put that person to be advising the president. You can never get any roads done in the country. You have people who are newspaper editors and their newspaper businesses failed, and you expect them to support freedom of press. It's not possible. You cannot find anybody around President Buhari who has any digital inkling of how the world is going. They don't even understand that we are approaching the era of artificial intelligence, where robots are going to take over a lot of the roles that we are playing today as human beings, including being a personal assistant, washing your clothes for you, carrying out surgery, and all those amazing things that is happening in the world. They don't understand that oil is no longer the most important commodity in the market. And that in another 20 years, we probably won't even have oil anymore. Nobody's buying oil.
Thank you. I'm keeping someone. There's someone on the line. Mr. Ola, please, can you go ahead and ask your question? Mr. Sowore is listening.
Because Mr. Sowore has done a lot within just a few months. He has gone places which contenders like Mogalu did not even have that chance to, go about. I don't know what they are doing, but Mr. Sowore, please, you need to rest at least just for 2 days, just take a break. And then when you become president next year, please just get rid of the ballot box voting. By now, we should have e-voting. The ballot box has been used for 58 years to cause destruction in this country. So please, e-voting, just have that in mind. And then the diaspora voting too. So that's what I just want to say.
Thank you very much, Mr. Ola, and we appreciate your contribution. Thank you. We have another caller. He's asking about how to phase out ballot box, because ballot boxes have caused enough destruction in Nigeria.
I agree.
So to come to power, what are you going to do?
Within our movement, we're already doing digital voting. So
okay,
we should move Nigeria quickly to an era where people can vote with their cell phones.
Hello?
Yeah, we have a caller, another caller. Your name, please.
My name is Niyi. I'm calling from Lagos.
Niyi calling from Lagos. So please go ahead with your question, sir.
Actually, I want to really appreciate Mr. Sowore. I actually start believing in him. Hello?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. So I really want you to put more effort on it, and I'm also canvassing for people to come and join us. We are taking back Nigeria from this our current government because I don't believe in them anymore. I actually want us to at least do more effort. I really appreciate for it. He can even come towards in Lagos. We still living around the Ikorodu. I can really participate from my own end.
Okay.
I want you to spread that information. Let them know to the grassroots. Let them, because most of these people that are not on the internet, they don't really know. Let them go around. Let's take our country back from these wars.
Thank you very much, Mr. Niyi. Is heard you loud and clear. So that's a message from the people of Ikorodu and all those areas that are not on the social media. Ebutemeta that are not on the social media. That what are the efforts? Yes, efforts putting in place to get to them and make sure this take it back message gets to the nooks and crannies as everyone would expect. I've got another caller here. You will just answer the two together. Good afternoon. Hello, good afternoon. I think that is not
that call.
Hello. Sorry, one sec. Oh, have you lost him? Okay. So, hello, good afternoon.
Yeah, hello, good afternoon.
All right, your name and where you calling from, please?
My name is Chris. I'm calling from Manchester, in the UK.
You're welcome, Chris. Please go ahead with your question.
Yeah, mine's not really a question. Yeah, I've been following Sowore and the other guys. Magalu, I'm not sure how to pronounce them, and Fela Durotoye. Now the thing is this. Now you guys are doing. I really appreciate you guys. You guys are really taking the whole thing. You are at the forefront of pushing the youth into positions of leadership, and we only hope that people like you excel and take us to where we want to be. Well, my only what I'm scared of is this. Now, there seems to be a lot of you. I know we're just at the start of preparations for elections and all that, campaigns and all that, but there seems to be a lot of you. Now, you have a huge youth followership. A lot of people who want a change of guard, sort of. Now, at the end of the day, we're going to have a situation whereby 3-4 of you are fighting for the youth votes and all that. And that might limit your chances. Now,
Oh, we lost him. I think he was trying to make a point on what you have done so far. And I don't know what he wanted to add there. But maybe we should take the last caller before this one on your efforts in the local rural area as much as you have done for now. Maybe we should take that before we take another call.
Yes, thank you. It's we're all over the place. You probably seen a video in Cross River State where we went to Bakassi and we drove to another local. We passed 3 local governments to get there and also stop at the banks of the Cross River itself. So nobody, and I'm not saying this to denigrate others who are also running, has done as much as we've done in the last 3 months, reaching out to the grassroots. And when people say to us, how are you going to get to the grassroots are there. They are waiting to see you. They're waiting to touch you. They don't bite people. They don't eat you. They just want you to bring your ideas to them. And we've been to them. We've stopped by everywhere we go.
I saw that of that Bakassi, and it sincerely touched me.
Yeah.
Like,
exactly.
I could, and then the story after that, you know, paying for the family of the bereaved to bury their dead,
So
and at the same time paying for the upkeep of the little baby. So that's touching, you know. I can't call that political gimmick, you know. It's something
It's not.
It happened to you. Know, it happened to you unprepared. So how much of this do you have to, like, do you really handle every now and then from everywhere you've been to?
Oh, you have to handle it. We handle all kinds of things every day. And it's just, even for us, it's very surreal to meet people who ordinarily you thought didn't know what was going on in the country, who will say to you like, hey, you know, I just want you to be the president so that I can send my children to school. And like I said, some of them include police officers, army officers. We met a soldier, and I think it was somewhere near Aba. I went to see.
Sorry, we have a caller. Sorry, my caller. Hello. Hello. I think we lost him. So
you lost that.
We have another caller as well.
This soldier said to us, when we said, but you can't be partisan. He said, no, I don't care. I like you and I want to support you. He was carrying a gun. He said, we have to be partisan this time around because it's our future that is at stake. We are the ones who are sent out to get killed. And if we don't have leaders who can give us the right kind of protection, we are screwed.
Yeah. Hello, we have a caller here.
He came out.
Can you just please hold on for a second, please? Mr. Sowore is talking. Yeah, I'll call on you in a minute.
Okay, no problem. I was talking and the call got disconnected.
Oh, I see. Now we can hear you. Just hold on a minute. Continue, comrade. Yeah, continue. You're telling us about the soldiers. Yeah, the soldiers.
Yeah, the soldier said, look, I am not going to be non-partisan here. I'm sorry. Don't tell us not to be non-partisan. We support you and we want to say that we support you. He was carrying a gun. He was in uniform. He said, you know, we're going to bear the consequences of what it takes to support you. We just want to let you know that we know you and we support you. And that was very touching. That's the same everywhere we've been. Yesterday, we were in Warri, you know, and we went to the palace of the Olu of Warri, and the conversation was the same. The Olu of Warri said, look, you know, they've just jailed the governor, and I hope they jail more. That endorses our position that people need to go to jail for looting the Commonwealth of Nigeria. So, but before now, even traditional rulers will not say those things. But they are getting the confidence to even speak truth to power because we are bringing our messages to the inner recesses of power, including palaces. You remember when we went to Kano, the Emir of Kano said, please don't get arrested. Because he knew that this is how they think. You know, I'm sure they are already plotting. You know, you've seen a lot of propaganda and lies thrown at us. It's not going to stop. But that is not our problem. Our
help us adjust the camera. The camera again is shifted.
Okay.
Yeah,
how's that?
So we can see your face fully.
So our concern is how to make this country work. And it's not what Sowore is and what Sowore, not all the propaganda and the lies.
Yeah, I will let my caller make his own contribution. Good afternoon, and your name and where you're calling from, sir.
Okay, my name is Chris. I'm calling from Manchester.
Oh, it's Chris again.
Yes,
we lost you then. Yeah, you wanted to make a point after you commended him of his effort so far. So go ahead, please.
So what I was trying to say is this. Now, I look at you, I look at Sowore, I look at Fela, I look at Kingsley and all the other young guys who are intelligent guys, enlightened, and who would make a better president than what we have presently. But what I'm really worried about is this. At the end of the day, okay, you guys have a lot of youth followership. I would rather have one of you as my president than one of the old guys. Now, there seems to be a lot of you, and at the end of the day, the votes of the youth might be, we might have to share it amongst you all, and that way we might not be able to make an impact. Now, the opposition is very formidable. Buhari is there. He wants to rule till 2023, even though he's not he's performing below par. He wants to be there, and they will do whatever it takes to remain there. Now, we don't want to we don't want to compromise our chances by having to share our votes and all that. Have you guys really considered joining forces together? I mean, in a situation where we have
like
one of you as our president, one of you as VP, so that we can consolidate all the youth efforts together. Do you get what I'm trying to say?
Yeah, like a coalition of all these groups, to come together and present someone,
exactly.
And all of us rally around. Yeah, Mr. President, over to you.
Oh, yeah,
Thank you very much,
Chris.
He's got that now. So.
People ask this question all the time. How do you?
Sorry, he said he still has one again. Mr. Chris, you have to make that one so quick, all right? So,
I just want to know. See, I know me as a Nigerian living in diaspora, one thing I'm really concerned about is the abuses carried out by our military, our men in uniform, especially the Nigerian army and the Nigerian police. Now, in the UK, for instance, it's a crime for you to physically hit someone, even if the police wouldn't dare it because you get sued and all that, you lose your job. But these are things still happening. What are you guys going to do to change that? You see, because of, I'm sorry to say this, but because of the level of enlightenment amongst us in Nigeria, a lot of people don't even know that the army or the policeman is not supposed to hit you or physically abuse you. We've accepted it as a norm because of so many decades of military oppression. It has affected our psyche. So a lot of people are ignorant of the fact that, look, it is a crime for a military man or policeman to hit you. A lot of people don't know that, and our politicians are doing nothing about it because they use these same people to oppress the people. What would you be doing differently in that regard? Because that's an area I'm really concerned about.
Thank you. Human rights and abuses from the government officials and all that.
He also asked about collaboration between the candidates and when it comes to human rights.
My caller, we have another caller here. Can you please just give us a minute? Hello.
Hello, good afternoon.
Yeah, good afternoon. Could you give us just 1 minute, please? Mr. Sowore is addressing a question.
So he has two questions. One is how the young candidates can collaborate.
No, he's talking about coalition, then human rights abuses from the officials of government.
Yeah.
What are you going to do differently?
Coalition is going to happen. I think at the point we'll get to a point where boys will be separated from men in this race. And this is not about the young people alone. Yes, it's going to be about even the old people who are running. I have a feeling that the people who are promoting Buhari will find out very soon they can't push it any further, and they will just package him and take him to London as a saving grace and say he's undergoing some medical checks. And we won't have to deal with it. And that's my hunch. I don't know if it is true. I don't have any evidence right now, but that's what I'm saying, because you can see in the headlines of newspaper today, Buhari is already saying that he's afraid of the opposition because they have too much money. No, I don't think there's nowhere in Africa that the people that have the most money is not the ruling party, because they have the treasury to mess around. With regards to human rights,
or maybe because Buhari refused to steal, that's another narrative.
Buhari could never have refused.
Maybe he refused. Because he refused to steal, so he has no money to.
Buhari cannot refuse to steal. Buhari is the kind of guy who may not steal directly, but who will accept a stolen good. That's Buhari for you. You can steal from him as long as he's not the one that did the stealing, because then it increases his deniability. I didn't do it. But that doesn't mean that he's not surrounded by thieves or he won't accept stolen goods. Otherwise, it's obvious that he might find it difficult to be where he is today. The second question is
about abuses, human rights abuses. By the police and the military officers in Nigeria.
I've covered human rights abuses. I've been a victim of human rights abuses. I've been a victim of torture. I know how they do it. They do it because they can get away with it. One of the things we have to do is to put together a central independent human rights commission, and we can do it through the existing structures where they are free to go into any prison, any police station, to check who is being detained there, to get alternative information. The other one is data, to force policemen in Nigeria to put into a central data system. Everybody's arrested as soon as they're arrested. You provide them with a laptop,
so we know where they are keeping
you must put it there and explain what the person did. Anybody we get to the police station and we can't find their data in the system is a free person. And the police officer, if they find out that they deliberately don't do it, will be in trouble. It's as simple as that. And the other part that we need to do is we need to stop our military men from wearing uniform and just going into town to play. Power corrupts and absolute power corrupts absolutely. That's the well-known maxim.
So now we have a caller here. We have a caller on the line. And I'm going to, please, caller, your name and where you're calling from. Sorry.
Yeah, my name is Larry.
Larry.
I'm calling from Swindon.
From Swindon, okay.
Yeah. Well, I'll start this way. There's no doubt about it. We're winning this. But my worry is this. When Buhari came on board the other time, he was just telling us what he would do, just like Show is telling us. My concern is always about when he gets there, how can how can we be sure that he's actually going to do exactly what he's telling us? Can we take him to Shrine or Shogo, or could there be a document he sign so that when he gets there, he's not going to change? Because you don't believe so much in Buhari, and all these nonsense the man is doing is so depressing that I don't really want to get in politics and all these campaigns again. But we've got to do it. This is what we enjoy in London, and we want people back home too to see that, look, you can enjoy good life, you can have electricity, you can have things and that. So I don't have problem with Sowore, but how about others that are listening to him that are concerned that, oh, he had to send the 3 years ago. What exactly is he going to do so that we can be sure all he's telling us he will do it?
Thank you, Larry. It's about the oath of office and what type we should take from him to keep his word. Thank you very much. Let me take one more call and then you answer that. And to the viewers who are a little bit feeling, hello? Hello? Well, I'm just going to keep it at that. So to the viewers who think I'm more or less interrupting the guest, well, the transmission is more or less delayed from both ends. So you can't expect it to go accurately. So it may sound like I'm interrupting him, but you should understand the fact that it's because of the transmission from the transmitting between us. So that's why it's like that. So the last caller asked, what would you like to give as a guarantee or as a collateral to everything you have been promising? He suggested that maybe we should take you to Ogun Shrine so that you go and swear to an Ogun and say, everything I am saying, I will do, I will not take your cover. That was what the last caller requested. So could you answer that quickly before we take another one?
If you know of any Ogun priest, Amadioha, Chongo, Obatala, all of the African gods that people can be afraid of, perhaps we should deploy those. The truth is that people are not afraid of those gods anymore. If they were afraid of it, Nigeria would not be the way it is, because people are swearing at them with all these gods, and they are doing better each time.
Some of them are even protected by these gods.
Exactly.
The masters of these gods.
People have Ogun priests working for them. They have pastors, imams, Marabu all over the place. So here is the solution. It's not some Ogun god or something. It's about pedigree, it's about integrity. The question is a guy who used to fight bad guys who will not be afraid to go to Nigeria, able to do what he believes he can do. Did he fulfill his promise when he started Sahara Reporters? Even though I never made a promise to anybody. But the moment Sahara Reporters said started, and we said we use it to investigate everybody that is stolen in Nigeria. 12 years later, there's nobody who's in doubt about that. And some of the people who are now worried are like, they used to be worried about my safety. Because there are some people who are not even political who will never come to Nigeria because they just believe that they will eat them the moment they enter into Nigeria. But I'm here with them. I'm making pronouncements. We are addressing rallies. We are having engagements. We went to places like Ilorin, talked about the man who is the landlord of the place. We went to Warri yesterday. We talked about all the criminal elements there who are politically holding down the state of Delta. And people welcomed it because that's what they want to hear. Let me explain to you, and I should tell you this. There's nothing difficult to do about making roads. There's nothing difficult in putting hospitals together. There's nothing difficult in investing in education because we budget for the money every year. But when you ask somebody to make road for you,
I'll take this call.
Yes, when you ask somebody to make road for you, and you ask him to go and build your house, a house first, why would you?
Yeah, hello, my caller. We have a caller, Mr. President. Your name, sir, where are you calling from?
My name is Kingsley. I'm calling from Sunderland.
Kingsley from Sunderland. Please go ahead and make it brief, sir. Mr. Sowore is listening.
Okay, I want to just thank Mr. Sowore for his interest to change the fortune of Nigeria. Our country has been a mess from this old politician, and we are all shedding tears from what they are doing and their action, towards savaging Nigeria, even in our wealth and everything Nigeria has. But I want to make it clear to him. I have so many points I need to hit. First, we have a lot of young people who are coming for the presidency. I would suggest that if they can work together.
Yeah, you said you have many points, Mr. Kingsley. If you are talking about coalition, he's already been asked that question and he's answered it. He said there's probability for coalition, but when the time comes, we'll separate men from boys. So if you have any points, maybe you should just give me another question, and we'll use your own time, judiciously, if you don't mind.
Let me tell you my other thing, please.
Okay.
Just one more thing. Yeah. Other thing is, for you coming to serve Nigeria, see it as a big opportunity, like a lifetime opportunity. And I want him to just know one thing, that if he does something significant, Nigeria will remember him and his generation forever.
He knows.
So I know
that, yes.
Because right now Nigeria is messed up. A little thing you do might not be significant for people to see, but there are some specific things you can pick on that will leave a lasting legacy for him and his generation. So I want him to put it at the back of his mind that it won't be an easy run, but he can make a big difference in Nigeria, and Nigeria will be grateful for that. And thanks for
Thank you very much, Kingsley, for that. I'm going to pick one question online among our viewers. In fact, I'm going to pick more than one from Sheung Akinloton. My caller on the line, can you just give us a minute? I'll get back to you, please. So, Sheung Akinloton, his question is, what are you doing about publicity? Millions of Nigerians still don't know you. Is there a way national debates can be organized during prime time? You need a bigger, well, I think it's about the publicity and the rest of that. So let me take this call. You can add it up. Good afternoon, my caller. Your name?
Hello?
Hello, sir. What's your name?
My name is Godwin, and I'm calling from Lagos.
From Lagos. Godwin from Lagos, is it?
Yes, Godwin from Lagos.
All right, please go ahead with your question this time around, because of time.
All right. What I actually want to say is that Sowore is a great guy, and we appreciate what he's actually doing right now. But I want to say something, that the youth of Nigeria are currently scattered between ethnic lines, So, and presently he's
coming out for as a presidential candidate, and we have other people like Fela and Kingsley Mohalo.
I think it's still about coalition.
Yeah, so I'm talking about if there is any way we youth can have one in order to take back this country, because for we to take back this country, we don't need to have this scattered mind like these people are voting for this. We have to have like Kingsley Mohalo, Fela, and Sowore coming together to build up a team, to give us that one mind in order to take back this country come 2019. Because if we have one voice, we roll like a lion. So that's the suggestion I want to make.
Thank you very much. And I think it's still about coalition as well. But in the absence of other, what do you call it? Sorry, my brother, thank you so much for your time. Sorry, Mr. President. So I've got this very important question as well that I really want you to treat, including the one asked about the publicity up there and the coalition, where we've treated the coalition side of it. So among the questions I put up, like I was going to ask you, is this issue of unemployment in Nigeria among the youth. So presently, we're like about 47% of our population are currently unemployed. About 60 to 65% of us are either unemployed or underemployed, which means the take-home pay is absolute nothing, doesn't even take them home. So now I've got this, like, and recently we just added another 10 million of unemployed Nigerians, like, those who are employed 3 years ago and they are no longer employed. So how do you plan on locking the door of employment for Nigerians when elected? That's also important.
Let's go straight to the point. If you recognize what I said about Spicer Heat in the past, which is our cardinal program for re-engaging Nigeria with progress, peace, and prosperity, we said that we'll do security, and the security sector alone, the police just found about 80,000 ghost workers within itself. If we take out the ghost workers, stop paying them, and start paying real people after they're employed, that's 80,000 people there. We plan to employ 200,000 teachers to go and start revamping our education at the primary and secondary levels immediately. We also have plans to hire 160,000 primary health workers, well-trained, who we're going to. So within these three sectors alone, we're already talking about 300,000 for employment.
That's still nothing.
That's nothing. Just keep listening to me.
Okay.
We mentioned that we want to do 4,500 megawatts of electricity that's from renewable energy, just to put together the pieces to generate 4,500. We're talking about almost 1 million to 2 million people hired. We've spoken about agriculture. The more hands you put on agriculture, the more employment you gain. I mean, the more focus you have on agriculture, the more employment you gain for us. Another thing is to actually use Nigerians to do a lot of work at home instead of hiring expatriates. There's no reason why Nigeria should be hiring people from Philippines and Malaysia to come and do underwater welding here with oil companies when you can do it here. So we also have education. I've mentioned that. I mentioned health, infrastructure alone, the number of kilometers of road that needs to be built, power lines, transmission lines that we want to build, will give us another almost 1 million people employed. If within the first 3 years in government we do what we're going to do, we will have nothing less than 5 million
Mr. President,
people.
sorry to really cut in there, because sometimes we are getting used to throwing figures. Just as usual,
Yes.
you only know what's in that manifesto.
These
are figures
supported by statistics. These are figures that are supported by statistics. We've done our research, not with people in Nigeria alone, but Nigerians outside of the country. You probably read something this morning about the United States government, and I'm not a fan of the government over there, particularly the president, where they said that the U.S. economic boom has reached a point where everybody that's looking for a job could possibly get a job. Have you heard that?
Yes.
So the employment rate was so low. There's no big deal about unemployment in this country. When you're not investing in the country, you can't get people employed. And you know how we are here. One person gets employed, he supports 20 people. Yeah. So all these things I mentioned to you are supported by empirical evidence. What we need to do is to stop giving the money that's meant for development in this country to the greedy people, both in the private and the public sectors. There's no reason why Nigeria should be paying a senator 13 million naira. If a senator gets 13 million naira every month, and in a year, the salary of a senator is going to be claimed by a worker earning 100,000 if only the person has worked for 11.3 years. That's unconscionable. Look, don't let us make it look as if it's impossible to fix Nigeria. Nigeria can be fixed because other countries around us are getting fixed. You go to even Benin Republic, there they have enough money to take care of themselves. Where do they get the money from? From importing goods into Nigeria. The same thing with Togo. How is it that Ghana is able to get it right? And we keep saying it's impossible to find our people's job. Botswana could find its own people's job. They have very robust economy because they practice transparency. They don't steal the money meant for the country. Who is a better guy to do it for you than a guy who goes after thieves? That's what I do for a living. I'm always true. After them. And the reason why I risk my life, I risk everything to fight thieves is because I want something to be left for the people of Nigeria to live with, to live by, on a daily basis, on a weekly basis, on a monthly basis, on an annual basis during their lifetime. So, except we start to think that and understand that these things are possible. Michael, you live in a part of the world that your roads, when they have a pothole, people don't wait for them to become a crater before they fix them. No. So why do we keep saying, oh, this is not possible? We are playing into the hands of the same politicians that we want to kick out of power.
Yeah, Mr. President, maybe that is why I'm going to take you to quickly touch on women and children. You see, yes. Recently we've been seeing the feminists campaigning just to make us see the neglect, the little things that makes them, a little bit discomfort and all that. So now we have vulnerable women, we have vulnerable men as well, and children. We see abuses here and there, and you see it is only when they happen that people react, that the society react. There's no clear, I don't know if there are, that they are not being implemented so well, right? I don't think there's any clear-cut standing policy that protects the vulnerable in our system, our society. Even the physically challenged, everyone is on his own.
The question you should ask yourself,
and at the same time, let me add this.
Who is not vulnerable in Nigeria?
At the same time,
who is not vulnerable in Nigeria?
Apart let me add this. Let me add this.
Maybe 1% of the population within the political class. Just let me address this quickly. Women, children, they are part of our society. They are part of people that have become oppressed and suppressed by our society. Children in particular, it's heartbreaking. What do we need to give our children? We need to give them education. We need to give them security, sanitation. They need health because children fall sick all the time, and there needs to be something that take care of them. We've all been kids before, and we know how frequently we fall sick, especially in a society where malaria is ravaging everywhere, mosquitoes everywhere. So if all of the needs of children are catered for within the Spicer Heat program that we have, which is security, power. Power is something as simple as your children being able to do their homework when they get home because there's electricity, right? Those simple things we take for granted. But you sit down in the part of the world, I come from the part of the world where I've been for 19 years, where we take these things for granted. We should not take it for granted that we can also make it possible to do these things. I'm telling you, they are doable. But the politicians in Nigeria want you to believe, they want you to keep promoting the cynicism of things are impossible. The thing they tell me is that, when you get there, you'll find out that all these things you are promising will not be possible. I said, but when I get there, if I know that these things are not possible, I will say it and expose why it's not possible. The reason these things are not possible is because when you guys got there, you told us you are going to offer sacrifices, but you are building mansions. You are stealing money meant for people in the refugee camps and internally displaced people. You are enjoying the same kind of lifestyle that people you drove away out of power are enjoying. You're getting in jets and flying jets all over the place. You are killing people politically because they disagree with you. Everything you repudiated that made people people to vote for you is what you are repeating in Nigeria. You as bad as the old guys. And they'll tell you that, yeah, sorry, we came with the PDP people, and the PDP people the PDP people in the APC are the ones doing the bad things. But there's no truth to that. APC people are bad. It doesn't matter whether
I have a caller
APC
here.
or PDP people.
Sorry, I think I lost that. I have a caller here. Good afternoon.
Michael, you have to recognize that by 3:30 we have another meeting.
Yes, I have to.
I know. Every day.
So I have and that means that we have just 8 minutes left
to go. I'm sorry. I enjoy your show.
You've done so well.
Yes.
It's like
I would love to stay here all day, and I think we should have a marathon show where we're just there all day taking questions and having conversation. Yes.
That's good. My caller, your name and where you calling from? You're gonna be our last caller this afternoon.
I'm calling from Germany.
Sorry, your name again. Okay, Mr. Temitokwe from Germany. Please go ahead with your question, sir.
The question I want to ask, or like admonition to Mr. Sowore, is that all of us understand that he's a visionary man. Hello?
Yeah, go ahead.
So, and we know all these things he's saying, it takes a mind who has studied Nigeria, who knows our problem, who knows what is going on, to bring up this idea. He's full of ideas. To implement his idea is no big deal. People that are saying that he cannot do it, they don't understand what they are saying. He is capable to do it, to achieve all things. But my first fear is this. How is he going to get the money to run election to the seat of presidency in Nigeria? That is number one. We see operate a kind of system whereby we spend so much to conduct, for any aspirant to contest and win election in Nigeria. A lot of money. Why that is there?
Yeah, please, please, you need to wrap it up. We only have just 5 minutes now to release him, please.
Why that is there today?
Yeah.
Cannot lie to us that he didn't spend up to 100 billion before getting that. Where did he get the money from?
So funding.
It's my fear. The money to run it. He has been going around Nigeria. He knows it's not easy.
Yes.
So he should please work on that aspect, work on that area.
Funding, yeah.
And we see him becoming the president of Nigeria very soon.
Amen. So thank you so much, sir, for your own contribution there. So, Mr. President, I'm going to make this a two-edge of a sword now, because I know you are going to have to wrap up. So you take his own question that borders on funding, and then you give us a closing remark that I want you to also include the encouragement and a clarion call on the rest of the youth that you are running for president. You are not running for Senate seats. People need to run for Senate seats. Some people need to run for House of Assemblies. So many need to run for governors. So if you have the courage to aspire to be president, you should have a word or two for them to run and aspire for something. And in order to balance this whole battle across Nigeria, you can't be everywhere. So please, the question about funding and your closing remark, quickly.
So with regards to funding, we encourage all our compatriots to support us. We now have a Nigerian account where you can send in Naira if you have Naira to spare, and it's been encouraging. People are sending 1,000 Naira. I love that. 1,000 Naira each, and so far, I think in 3 days we have almost we are both 1 million Naira. We could do more than that. On our GoFundMe page, I think at the last count, we now have almost 50,000 on GoFundMe.
Yeah, $50,000. Yeah.
Yes. Our goal is to get more money than that. So we want people to own and fund the process. You cannot You cannot have this taken care of if you don't support the process. We still have that problem. Nigerians still don't like supporting causes, except in some cases they feel like, oh, what is it that, and you can't blame them. We're close to 50,000 on GoFundMe. Yeah, it's because our society have become a place where people get scammed, and even when politicians make promises, they don't fulfill them, and people feel like it's a waste of money to support any political endeavor. They rather support other things or support their families. So where you can support that, funding is very crucial, but it's not the end of the world. I have to tell you that we have made the most impact spending the least amount of money of all the candidates that are out there today, and I'm saying it categorically. We have done our research and known how much some of the other candidates, some of the young people are spending on publicity alone. They are millions. We spend little. We do the publicity ourselves. We rely on great people like you to amplify our voices. And we have a TakeItBack TV now online. And we're doing a lot of innovative things to reach out to people. And we physically go out there because we have stamina. We have stamina to do this. To reach out to people. We take questions, we ask questions. Sometimes people are surprised. Then they'll be worried about me. How are you going to be able to do the next one? You have not rested. And then they see me for 4 hours standing and answering questions. And after that, we pat backs with people at an event, we do selfies. And sometimes we even go out and eat with them. People haven't seen this kind of thing before. They've never seen a political process, building up in a way.
No, people are already saying that the oil day your head, like the oil day your head. So whatever you do now, people are not going to judge you. That's why they are looking up to you and they are doing everything to bring this together and make it a reality.
And I think a lot of people are just looking for the D-Day. A lot of people are looking for the D-Day. But what is amazing is, and I have to say that I have to praise Nigerians for this. I didn't know how the people of Nigeria, majority of the young people, got over the issue of religion and ethnicity and zoning. No, but people are not.
The last man that did that, right, was Buhari in 2000. Even with that divisive campaign,
like,
you see people he jailed came out. They said, "No, I don't care. He jailed me. Fine.
Exactly.
I like him."
Yeah.
So you tend to be the person that is bringing that back now.
People are always looking for a leader that can lift them out of the state of misery that the country is today. And Buhari was the last person they thought could do it. But now they have an option, they have an alternative, which is someone who actually I have a better pedigree than Buhari. Buhari killed people, he jailed people before they forget. I've never killed anyone. I've always been saving people. I saved my colleagues when I was in the University of Lagos from getting killed by court members. I saved this country every day, publishing stories about corruption so that we can have funding made for hospital, roads, education, electricity, so that people don't steal them. So I would say to you that it's up to us to save ourselves. As I always love to sing that redemption song, part of redemption song by Bob Marley that says, "Emancipate yourself from mental slavery, none but ourselves carefree our own mind. Have no fear for at all, make energy, for none of them can stop the time. For how long shall they kill our prophets? While we stand aside and look, some say it's just a part of it. We got to fulfill the book. Would you help to sing that songs of freedom? For life ahead, redemption song." I love that song.
Thank you. So I like that, and it's also like not just redemption song. It sounds like revolutionary song. And revolution is already happening.
It is. We have to redeem. We have to have a revolution.
So we're going to hear more and
political
more
revolution.
Revolution song.
Nothing bloody. Nothing bloody. We are not.
No, not bloody. You said something. There was something you said.
A revolutionary ideas, liberating our minds and physical bodies and souls, and nourishing our country, and giving us economic power, giving us social status that we deserve, and giving us respect and dignity as human beings.
Thank you very much for your time this afternoon. I'm still going to bring you back. Like you promised the last time that anytime. So thanks for creating that time for us.
Facebook Live is our new TV,
That's our TV. You said something. You said this revolution will not be televised.
But
it will be streamed live. And that's exactly what is going on.
That's what is happening.
On our own television, in our own mini studio, mobile studio. So it's going to happen. Thank you so much, Comrade Omoyele Sowore, for your time this afternoon, and I wish you all the best in the campaign and the journey ahead. So to my viewers, thank you so much. Are you there? If you are still watching, you should do that in our own honor. So some people have also been suggesting that we shouldn't make this platform a regular thing for just the Take It Back team, in order not to look partial to the other young contestants in Nigeria. Yes, we have been looking at that as well. But like Sowore said, they need to make themselves more available. They need to make themselves more accessible, and they need to make themselves more, ready than we, imagining it for them. So it's been a wonderful afternoon on my Eagles Diary. I enjoyed myself. At the last of it, the connection, the transmitter that I told you of earlier, took Sowore away. But however, it's been very wonderful, and we'll keep monitoring the campaign. We'll keep monitoring the process, and at the same time, we'll stay woke. Everyone needs to stay woke, like they say on the street, because this time around, they must not use the same technique to deceive us again. And that's why you have to stay woke. Thank you so much for your time this afternoon, and I hope I see you some other time. Tomorrow, I'm bringing Tomiwa back. For those who know Tomiwa, so Tomiwa will join us tomorrow. There is another beautiful program that we are bringing up. It's also a political program where we are going to discuss the Green Party and the progress we've made with the party in Ogun State. So, which means tomorrow, those of you who have been asking about Green Party, you will get to know more about Green Party tomorrow. Not only that, some of you will sign up for Green Party tomorrow. I'm from Ogun State. I can only tell you about Ogun State. And I am doing my best. We are doing our best collectively, so to say, to ensure that the youth in Ogun State are given new direction, a new sense of belonging, and their lost self-esteem, stolen and destroyed by these same criminal leaders, are, watered back and brought back to life. So we are doing our best in Ogun, and you will get to know more tomorrow. You have to join this whole thing. You can't save them. Like I've been saying, if you are fighting for PDP and APC, my brothers and sisters, you are fighting for the establishment that keeps you poor and that keeps you powerless. Scared and vulnerable. So if you want to get out of that, take it upon yourself. Take it upon yourself, young, old, women, male, female. Take it upon yourself now. There is no savior coming from anywhere. We have to be our own brothers and savior this time around. We have been invaded long time ago, but we have realized now. Now that we have realized, what are you doing? What are you going to do? And that's exactly what I am doing in my state with other people, like-minded young Nigerians, trying to ensure that those who have lost their self-esteem and defending this criminal enterprise or establishment in Ogun State are brought back and whipped back to line. Because we need them, we need the number. So we will not let these old people get away this time around. And they can only get away if you fight and if you keep fighting and protecting them. Fighting and defending them means you are protecting them. And if you don't know before, now that you know, should you protect your oppressor? That's the question, and that's where I'm going to draw the curtain. I'll see you some other time. Good afternoon.